USA Warrior Stories is a not-for-profit organization designed to record, archive, and share videos of veteran stories, to help veterans make a connection with one another and to help us all better understand their sacrifices for our freedoms.
My name is Angelique Williams. I'm from Wayne Scott, New York. I served in the Navy for many years. I served in Washington State aboard the USS Rainier AOE-7, and then I also served in Marine Corps Base Kaneohe Bay, Hawaii for HSL 37, and also at the NOSC Long Island is where I did some of my reserve time. When I was 7 or 8 years old, I was visiting Puerto Rico to visit my grandparents, my father's parents. And I remember watching TV with my grandmother, all cartoons and stuff, and the commercials would come on about enlisting in the Army. And I remember telling her that I wanted to join the Army. And she just looked at me and said, no, I want you to join the Navy so you can see the water. And I had no idea at that age what that meant. And so fast forward, I just became a rebellious kid. I was just a handful for my parents, for my family. I got put out at a young age. It was deserved because of the way I was. And I always remembered that I promised her that I would join the military. Unfortunately, she passed before I could do that. So I wanted to keep that promise. And so I joined to create some type of stability for myself and also to make my dad proud because my dad was an Army veteran. And so I enlisted. And once I did that, it wasn't about the struggles that led me to join. My purpose was greater than myself. And I had the opportunity to stand up for my beliefs and also to protect the freedoms that so many people take for granted. So I first started out as a deck seaman when I arrived to my ship. And then I struck out of deck department, which means I took a test to try and get a different job, and that job was a yeoman. So I did a lot of administrative work, correspondence. I worked with security clearances for the enlisted and officers aboard my ship. When I left active duty, I still was a yeoman in the reserves. However, I got deployed, and then I worked in customs. So I would clear vehicles, containers, to eliminate any environmental risks, back here. A lot of people, they may know, but I don't think they understand the importance of mail, right? So while I was serving, I remember getting a package from Sag Harbor, New York, from a classroom of kids, and it was cards thanking me for my service that had a huge impact on me while serving there. I felt so low. I was at one of my lowest points, and receiving that package just made it make sense for me. When I served in the Middle East, there was an incident during one of my deployments. It happened to another service member. She was violated. And I just remember how quiet everyone had become after that incident had happened. No one was really speaking out. Everyone was just didn't know, what was going on, and that was the scariest thing because you don't know what's happening, and so you become fearful for yourself. And I think it's important for women in the military to be able to not be afraid to speak up if something happens to them. There's change comes about when you're able to talk about things, and it's very difficult. I went through an MST situation, and so I just think it's very important for women to not silence themselves, women in the service. Lean on the people that you need to lean on for help and support. If you can, talk about your experiences. I think it's important that we continue to have education in the service. We do, but continuously, maybe more on a more frequent basis, because unfortunately it happens. From that deployment, I learned that in certain situations, it's okay to be loud. It's okay to be loud. It's okay to be heard. So, however you serve, it's a lot. It's a lot, and a lot of people don't see the pick-me-ups that we have to do for ourselves and for each other to keep each other going. So, we rely heavily on each other to get through those times. PTSD is an unpredictable force. You never know when it's going to rear its ugly head, and so when that happens, it's important to have the right resources available. I'm lucky I have a community behind me, my family behind me. I didn't realize I was struggling with PTSD when I first came home. I just thought I was having a lot of bad days, and they got worse. And then I was losing friends to suicide, and I didn't understand why, and was trying to understand why. Why am I still here? Why you? And then I wanted it to be me. And then I tried to make it happen. And by the grace of God, it didn't, and I'm still here. It's a daily struggle, and it's something that I'm still working through. Some days I use the tools that I've been given to push through the day, and other days those tools don't work, and I have to find new ways to overcome those feelings. I don't necessarily know all my triggers. I know when they happen, and when they happen, I know that I have so much support and people I can reach out to help me. I found out about Paws of War when I was in the hospital, when I was in the VA recovering. They had prescribed a service dog. I'd never even heard of prescribing a dog. I got prescribed a dog. And they said, we feel like you would benefit from a service animal. And that was a lot to take in, and they mentioned Paws of War, and I remember contacting Paws of War, and right away, they just wanted to help me. And it took a few months, because they don't just place a dog with you. They get to know the veteran. They get to know what your disability is, and they try, they work to find a dog that would best suit the veteran or first responder. I walked in and I saw Buddy. He looked at me, gave me his paw, and laid down immediately. And then I laid down on the floor with him, and then he sat up next to me and he licked my hand. And the hand that he licked is the one that I had sustained an injury while I was in the military. And he sat on my left side, which is the leg that I had trouble with, and he was just so gentle. So they presented Buddy to me at a hockey game in Utica, and on Veterans Day. And I remember my mom was in the stands. After watching my friend's video, I could hear my mom crying. I'm so grateful to Paws of War for Buddy. He's been a tremendous help to me. I'm doing things that I haven't been able to do in years. Like, I would never have been able to sit here across from you and have this conversation. I would never be able to get out in the community and volunteer and help. Because of everything that they've done for me, I wanted to find some way I can give back to them, and what I could give them was my time. I knew that they needed help with transports, so I started transporting the animals that they rescue for veterans and first responders. It's given me a newfound sense of purpose. I never believe that we just have one purpose, we have many. It is such a great feeling also to be around active duty service members. I still feel, for a brief moment when I reunite them with their animal, I still feel like I'm still a part of them, So it's a great feeling that I come away with, and I'm just so happy that I can just honor them and the animals. Art is a form of therapy for me. It gives me a chance to express my emotions, things that I find difficult to articulate. So it's been incredibly healing. I work with charcoal. I love that medium because it's a moody medium, and I'm a moody person at times, so it works. Through my work, you could see my struggles, you'll see my resilience, and you'll see, like, ultimately the hope that I have for myself. And I love sharing that with other people because it's my way of letting them read the book. My mom found out that I could draw when I was little, but at that time my parents couldn't afford any art supplies. So I remember just a couple of years ago, actually, I came out here to visit her, and there was a table full of art supplies, like paints, charcoal, crayons, colored pencils, pads. I was blown away because she realized that art has been very healing for me, and she wants me to keep going, and she's proud of the work that I've done. So.
Long Island's former military women smartly snapped salutes. The Long Island Air Force Association awarded medals to 28 women from all branches of the service. The medals bore the insignia of each of their branches of the military. Some of the women have suffered PTSD or service-related injuries or recently retired from the service, like former Navy Yeoman Angelique Williams.
This is an incredible honor, but I look forward to the day where all of us are together getting awards and stuff. But I'm so happy that we're being recognized for our service, our sacrifices, and so it's an honor to be here with all these women and the families that support us. Receiving the medal isn't just about my recognition, it's recognizing those that supported me during that time. It's a tribute to my family, and that's the way I'm looking at this. They are so deserving of this honor, because they really stood in the gap for me, even when they didn't want to. You know, it was hard. Some of the decisions I made, some of the deployments I decided to volunteer for, you know. Oh my gosh, my mother was just like, how could you, you know, but how could I not? It was my answer, you know. So I'm super excited, and I think it's so important to recognize women in their service because we've contributed a lot, you know, and I'm so proud of how far we've come. We are doing amazing things in the veteran community, and I love the fact that we are getting together and sharing our experiences and uplifting one another and uplifting others and getting our stories out there and being heard. My proudest moment of my service. This is, I think most people might say this, but it really was my proudest because I gave my parents hell. My proudest moment was graduating boot camp and watching my father walk towards me crying because I finally got that man to cry. That was my proudest moment. But yeah, watching my father walk towards me, especially after he had served, because he knew what it meant. It's been a huge change. Honestly, it's because of Buddy. It really is. I feel so comfortable doing things now that I wasn't comfortable doing before, you know, like surfing and helping in the community or even just going out with friends. Nobody saw me. I isolated all the time, and now Buddy and I are out. It's been a beautiful ride.